Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hey, friend, welcome back to the podcast. Happy Thanksgiving week for those that are celebrating in the US. We are busy in the kitchen today. Amelia and I are going to her best friend's family's house tomorrow. So I have far fewer responsibilities than normal. And I'm super excited about that. Because we're not hosting, we've already decorated the house for Christmas, which almost feels naughty, but I'm here for it. And it's just been such a beautiful, expansive, wonderful time. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to share something new that I'm offering because of this expansion that I've been experiencing and because of the conversations that are coming as a result of that. I've created a very intimate 4-week one-on-one coaching container for women who are ready to explore their next yes, whether that's a new chapter, a bold decision, a long-held dream, or simply the desire to feel more clear, supported, and grounded in their life. This is a private space. You don't have to have it all figured out. You simply get to arrive exactly as you are and be held, witnessed, and gently guided as you move forward with intention. If something in you is whispering, oh my gosh, yes, please, I invite you to click the link in the show notes to learn more and see if one of the available spots feels aligned for you. I would be so honored to walk alongside you in this next season of your beautiful, beautiful becoming. And because I want this for you, I have a very special pricing just for the month of December. So click that link, sign up for 4 weeks of one-on-one coaching with me this December, and let's move you even closer to the beautiful woman that you're becoming. Today, I am so delighted to share with you a gorgeous conversation that I had with Tricia Nelson. She is an emotional eating expert, internationally acclaimed author, and a TEDx speaker with over 2 million views. She empowers audiences to get curious about their emotional eating habits and discover solutions. Her simple, non-diet approach to healing began in the depths of her own addiction to food. Weighing 50 pounds more than she does today, Tricia was trapped in an endless cycle of yo-yo dieting, food cravings, and shame. Sugar and processed carbs were her escape, comfort, and obsession. Determined to break free, Tricia dug deep to uncover the hidden root causes of her food struggles. She not only shed the physical weight, but also transformed her relationship with food and her life. For the past 30 years, she has been guiding others on their own paths of healing. She has helped over 1,000 individuals heal their relationship with food through her programs and workshops. Her #1 best-selling book, Heal Your Hunger: 7 Simple Steps to End Emotional Eating Now, and her podcast, The Heal Your Hunger Show. She has been featured on media outlets such as NBC, CBS, KTLA, Fox, and the list. She has spoken on stages worldwide, and her expertise has also been shared on other top podcasts, making her a sought-after voice in the wellness space. I am delighted and excited to share this empowering conversation with Tricia Nelson. Oh my goodness, Tricia. I am so excited to have you here. I've already decided this is going to be a fabulous conversation. Thank
Well,
you
I,
so
I
much.
I agree, and thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, it's fun. Listener, we realized right before I hit record that we actually switched spots. So Tricia is from Massachusetts and is now in California. And you know, I am from California and now in Massachusetts. So fun.
It's great.
It is. So let's just dive right in. I would love to know, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
And this season being this part of my life.
Yeah, the season, women have seasons, and it can mean like what's on the calendar. It can mean what you are enjoying, the woman you're becoming, all
Okay,
the
I
good
love it.
things.
It's a awesome question. I am having the time of my life.
I love you. Me too.
I have such a good life. I can't even believe it. I have to pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, God, you're so awesome because it's clearly you had something to do with this life that I could not have imagined. So, yeah, I think women, especially as we get older, I think here's my take. My take is early on as women, oftentimes we're looking for security. Like in our 20s, like we need security, and that's what we're looking for. And obviously, it skews our judgment at times. And so we make decisions that may over time end up not being in our highest and best good, especially when we mature and we realize we don't have to depend on somebody else for our security, that we're actually amazing and wise and wonderful and powerful. And then it's like, wow, I sold myself short, right? And it's fine. It's all in divine order and things work out and beautiful things come of it. But I feel like, I mean, I'm almost 58 and I feel like, wow, like I have come, especially in my 50s, I have stepped into the best version of myself. And it didn't just happen, right? Like there's a
Right.
shit ton of work that happened that has to happen prior to that, on ourselves. But yeah, I am reaping the fruits of having done a lot of work, having, gotten bruised and bumped along the way. And so it's good. And I'm happy to talk about the details of what's so good about it, but it's just overall, I'm like flying high and thrilled and super grateful.
Oh my gosh. I could just say same.
Right?
It's true. I'm obsessed with the woman that I've become.
Ah,
It's so fun. And you're
yeah.
right. I mean, it was trial by fire
Yep.
and whatever. Okay, it happened. And here we go. And I am so delighted. And I see and feel that in you as well, that things happened and we kept going. We
Yeah.
kept doing the best we could with the tools we had, and we knew that we wanted more tools, and our commitment to ourselves is real. And we continued to do the work. And it feels like when you're in it, I'm not sure if this was your experience. For me, when I was in it, I was just doing what I knew to do
Yeah.
because I I wanted to understand alignment. I wanted to understand this connection to God. I wanted to understand what it meant to take a faith that I had my entire life and turn it into the anchor for the woman I was becoming instead of
Yes.
just repeating the woman that I had been.
Yeah.
And so I was just doing it, but I didn't realize that it was hard or admirable until I looked back. And now I'm like, oh, damn, girl, well
Yeah.
done. We did
Yeah.
it. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, so you wrote a book. Tell
Yep.
me all the things.
So I grew up as a little fat girl, and it was a real problem for me. I hated it, and I had a roll in my tummy that I would scrunch up in my hands, and imagine cutting off like you cut fat off the side of a steak. Like I was
Oh,
really obsessed
honey.
with my body, and I hated it. So that's how we started things, and I was obsessed with food. Like I love to eat and I love sugar. I love everything ooey gooey and chewy. So the early part of my life, I was, really struggling with my weight and with food, and food was my go-to. I had stuff happen as a young kid, and so I used food to soothe. And then it turned into a big ugly monster, that I couldn't stop, and I was a binge eater, and I would get all my goodies back in Massachusetts where I lived, all my goodies, Stop and Shop, whatever, and and sit in front of the TV on a Friday and Saturday night and just go to town, and carbs and sugar all the way. And of course I tried diets and I tried exercise programs and pills and potions and lotions. So I did everything. I was on such a quest for weight loss and sustainable weight loss. But, in my TEDx talk, I talk about like getting on a diet and having like new diet syndrome where you're like, woohoo, I'm doing it, looking good, feeling good. And then like you can't take it anymore. And you're like, give me chocolate. And then I break out, and then I put all the weight back on, and then some. So that was my pattern. And I really was done with diets by like age 21. So I somehow, by the grace of God, I was like, this is not the way. And right after that decision, I met somebody who became my mentor, and he told me that he had been obese and lost the weight spiritually, basically. And he told me,
Mm,
your problem is not food. Your problem is not weight. Your problem is not food. Your problem's on the inside. And of course, then I'm like, cool. And I ordered me some hamburger and fries.
that's right.
And then he's like, well, I forgot to say, like, it works better if you're not binging still, so
Right.
so I had to look at my food, but it wasn't about the food and controlling food and measuring and all these things. It was really about going deeper and having that deeper journey that he really took me by the hand and led me through. And it was such a game changer for me, Wendy. It was such a game changer that I'm like, I'm hooking my wagon up to yours, and I'm going wherever you're going, and I am going to help you. Like I just appointed myself like his marketing director, and he wasn't even doing this for a living. It just was what he did. Like it was
Oh,
sort of just
wow.
labor of love. Yeah, he wasn't even I didn't really even hire him. I didn't pay him any money. I just liked what he had to say, and I liked how he said it. He was a very spiritual man. And so I was like, let's do this. Like, let's help more people because this is incredible. And that's what we did. For years, we helped people heal from all addictions. We didn't just focus on food, but food is the hardest in my opinion, because
I
you have to,
agree.
right? You have to eat. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you have to take the tiger out of the cage 3 times a day, pet the nice little kitty, and then get it back in the cage without it tearing your ass off.
Right.
It's not easy. It is a trick. And so it's harder. And so that's really what we focused on is people with food issues specifically. But the solution was the same, which is going inside, and looking for basically the things inside of us that are tripping us up, like our self-worth, our self-esteem, our self-confidence, old beliefs that we have about ourselves, obviously old trauma, anything that's blocking us from just feeling light and love. Like just being like anything's blocking the love of God, really, and working through us. I had a lot of blocks. And so that's what we did for years and years and years. And then at some point, I'm like, we have to take this, like the internet now, there's the internet, and I'm like, we have to do this online. And he just couldn't really get behind that. He was just so used to having people in his living room and talking to them and doing the old school way. And I just was like, we have to bust this out. So I started a program online. We sort of went our ways in terms of how we were doing things. And I codified everything that we used to do in the living room. I created a step-by-step process. I wrote a book about it. I started my podcast, The Heal Your Hunger Show. And then I made a program based on it. And I help women worldwide now, thanks to the amazing internet and Zoom, and it's the same work that we used to do in the living room, but it's more duplicatable, of course, and more people can access it. So that's what I'm up to.
Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful, Tricia.
Thank you.
How did you, I mean, I have so many questions. How did you go on that journey of trying to find these blocks, find these limiting beliefs, find these narratives that were no longer serving you when they had been there as long as you could remember.
Totally. Yeah, it had a lot to do with, first of all, with safety. I feel like we don't bury things consciously. We bury them unconsciously. I was in a habit. I mean, overeating, binge eating is a habit that started out as a really effective coping tool.
Sure.
So, when I was a kid and things were happening, I was sexually abused as a young kid. And it's like when you have pain, and my whole family was in pain, and so you just do what you can do to survive. And food is one of the most handy things you can do. I would just sit in front of the TV and binge. And so that was like one of my coping tools. Another coping tool was people pleasing, being a good girl. And so these things that were saving my life at one time, because I didn't have a lot of, like, I didn't have any tools. My
Right.
parents didn't really have the tools I needed. So it started as a coping tool, turned ugly as and it stuck to me as an adult. And then it was just a really bad habit. And that's what overeating was. It just became it was my default. It's what I turned to. It soothed me. It made me feel safe. The fat on my body, I was 50 pounds overweight. That made me feel protected, even though I wasn't really protected. I wasn't protected from myself, that's for sure. And so that's my experience is that we have to look at these things, compassionately as,
Yes.
of course, that's all I knew and that's all I had available when I was a kid. And then when you practice something long enough, it just becomes a habit. So we need new habits. I had been in therapy, to be honest, before I met my mentor. I had been in eating disorders therapy for a year, like twice a week. So I was going at it really hard. I didn't get what I needed in therapy. Not that there's anything wrong with therapy. I mean, it's one of the tools that people can use. But for me, I was stuck in my head.
Sure.
So I had to be in my heart in order to release the pain that was trapped there. And my experience is I need safety to be able to feel safe enough to look at things that I had unconsciously buried, and it's like, again, we don't bury them consciously. It's just it becomes a habit. And so when I felt safe enough, I could look at things like old beliefs, like one of the things when I was sexually abused as a kid, this relative, I learned to just, like, it made me feel stronger to hate this person. Like I would just have this
Mhm.
hate, and hate felt strong and protective.
Right.
And then I realized it stuck to me. It became a habit where anytime I was uncomfortable, I just hated somebody. Like I just hated, And of course, I was a good girl and a people pleaser, so I had a smile on my face while I hated. But my energy
Right.
inside was like, if I could kill, yeah, I would. And so, but it was a habit of being, because it made me feel protected. And so then I'm like, okay, this is not working for me. Like, I can't go around life hating people just because I'm scared. So I had to take a look at that. So I will say, Roy taught me tools like meditation, self-care tools, which I teach now to clients, in order to overcome emotional eating. You're going to have to bring down your stress. You're going to have new ways of
Right.
coping, right? So meditation and prayer and that kind of thing are vital. And they're also vital in helping me feel grounded and safe within my body so that I can look at things that are scary to look at within myself. So a lot of tools that we need in order to create that sense of safety, but you can't do it alone, right? Like this is
Right.
a guided journey for sure. But when you feel safe, you can look at things and not react to them as much and then say, that's not really working for me. Let's try a new approach.
Oh my gosh, you're so generous. Thank you so much. I love what you're saying about, reminding everyone this needs to be done in community. So
Yeah,
having a mentor for so many reasons, because they're going to help hold that space for you so that you can feel safe. But
absolutely.
also, there's something that happens when we have this thought, these habits of thought that make so much sense when they're on repeat in our own
Right.
minds, but then we say it out loud so often. I'm saying something on the podcast and I have to say, oh, wait a minute. Actually, I don't believe that. That is a habit of thought. A
Yeah.
belief is just a thought we keep thinking.
Yeah.
So we can change them, but it is so beneficial to have community so that when we say those things that do need to be reframed, but also because in community, your mentor had no resistance around your success,
Yeah.
right? So it's even the fabulous women that are in our membership, the Say Yes Sisterhood, we're all cheering each other on to our next yes because I only see their success
Yeah.
because I have
You don't have the blocks.
I right I there's no yeah but going
Yep.
on in my head, and that is the beauty of doing this. It isn't weak, it's brilliant,
Yes.
and it's effective.
You bet. Yeah. Yeah. We need reflection. We need reflection of our highest and best possibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you implementing prayer and meditation? Like where does that come? I have both of those practices as well, and there's an on ramp to feeling safe so that you can actually quiet your mind, because you have to also unpack and unravel that thought system that says, oh, if it's quiet, I don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So how are you helping your clients do that?
It's a big part of what we learn. There's lots of tools that can help us feel safe and quiet our mind. And my experience is overeaters or overthinkers.
Mm,
So we really think the hell out of everything. Like we like
yeah.
tear it's like a dog with a bone, overthinking. What does she mean by that? Why did he look at me that way? I should have done this. I'm such an idiot. It's like nonstop. And so we really need to quiet our mind. And a lot of times we eat to quiet our mind. Like carbs are good, like they give us a serotonin hit, and then we feel more settled down. And so we need healthier ways to do that. And meditation, in my experience, is part of that. So I do teach meditation. I actually have my mentor teaching it. He's passed on now, but in a recorded training. People will say, I can't meditate, my head's too busy. And I say that's the effing point. Like
Right.
that's kind of why we do it. So nobody's head is not busy. So the first thing we need to do is stop judging. Like stop judging. Like, oh, I'm not doing it right. Everybody's like, I'm not doing it right. And then they quit. Because when you are quiet, what you're typically doing that you're not aware that you're doing is a lot more apparent. And part of what we're doing is beating the crap out of ourselves.
Right.
Constant, never ending criticism. And so, of course, we're going to meditate and we're like, you're not doing it right. And you suck at this. And, you're never going to get this. And, you failed, blah, blah, blah. Just another thing you failed at, blah, blah, blah. And my experience is we have to be super happy if we're even doing it. So if you're doing it right.
Yes. Right. It's like that person who's like, oh gosh, am I a good mom? Like, yeah, if you care, you
Yeah,
are.
exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's just really important not to judge and I mean, thank God there are tools like Insight Timer and Calm app that can help. Guided meditation is a great way to start, having somebody guide you.
Mm,
There's not total quiet in your head, don't get me wrong. I've been meditating for 37 years and
wow.
it's never been quiet. So
Right.
their thoughts happen all the time. But part of that is just relieving stress. We don't realize we're like, nothing's happening. No, it's like those little air bubbles that come up from down in the bottom of the water, the
Yes.
sea, if you will. There's little air bubbles. They're always coming up. That's their thoughts are just air bubbles coming to the surface. We're throwing off stress as we meditate. And I always say if your mind is slowing down from 50,000 miles an hour to 10,000 miles an hour, hooray. Like,
Right.
wow, isn't that amazing? So that's what I'm going for. And it's not only our minds settling down, somewhat, it's also our body. And we store a lot of stress in our bodies. Our shoulders are up and we're just kind of, our breath is shallow. And when you just sit there, like I have to, like sometimes just acknowledge my, like, oh yeah, my shoulders. And I have to, actually relax my shoulders and remember to really let go when I'm sitting and meditating. And all meditating is sitting down and shutting up, by the way. It's super basic, and if you have a mantra or something you can say that kind of brings you calm, God is here, love, whatever, or I learned TM, so I got like a non-word as my mantra. But the point is, you're just being quiet and you're letting your body settle down too to release that tension. And sometimes I meditate and it's like only the last 5 minutes that feel
Mhm.
beneficial, but it took me the other 15 to get to those five. So it's
Exactly.
again, it's like, let's stop the judgment, let's settle down, let's know we're never gonna get this right. Some days are great, my meditations are great, and some days it's like, okay, whatever. But I did the time.
That's right.
It's an appointment with myself and my higher power, and the consistency really helps. Like
Right.
it really helps, and no one meditation really matters when you think about it that way.
Right. And mastery comes from repetition.
Totally.
I have 8,000 questions. This needs to be like 42 episodes because, you've mentioned safety. We've talked about, it's safe to be at rest, it's safe to
Yeah.
breathe. But how do we transition? Like, I don't want, I mean, obviously, read the book, everybody, take the program, but I'm really fascinated. Like, what do you feel called to share about the process that really walks people through? Because yeah, it sounds great. Quiet mind, you bet. Pants that fit, yes, please. Safety, yeah. And if those things have never happened, I mean, I found that I was communicating with a friend. We use Voxer, which is this app that is like a walkie talkie. And I like it because I can record a 15-minute message without being cut off, which I often do. Um, so I was telling her about, oh, I wasn't feeling well, and I gave myself permission to be in bed. And Amelia was with her dad, and I only had one call that I needed to reschedule, and it was okay. And I uttered the words without knowing they were coming. I'm just reminding myself that it's safe to be at rest. And when those words fell out of my mouth, I ugly cried
Aw.
because it was like I had with her. I'm crying right now. It's like I had heard that for the first time. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, like, why is that hitting me that way? And is that true? Is it safe to be at rest? Because I don't have any evidence of resting. So I don't have any evidence of safety being there.
I love that. That is so beautiful. Yeah, I feel like, the work that I do with women is definitely, spiritual.
Yeah.
It has to be because we've been so reliant on ourselves for so long out of fear that there was no other way,
Right.
right? We just like if it was going to happen, it was going to be up to us.
Yeah.
But in the realm of food, willpower will never get you there. Like if somebody's got an addictive habit, willpower won't do it,
Right.
and so that's why spirituality has to be a part of it. Now I'm super open, like I don't, I'm not dogmatic, I'm not even religious. Like people get to decide what that means for them, but it's necessary to have a power that is comforting and loving and can make us feel supported and safe, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a journey to get to that place where you feel like you can breathe,
Yeah.
breathe and stop making it all up to you.
Right.
Because that's how we roll, right? It's how we roll. We're in survival mode, making it happen. We're doers, but it's not a winning solution because we get worn out.
Right. And I don't think we even realize it. We don't realize when you hear survivor, I don't think of Wendy Harrop. When you think of perfectionism as a trauma response, I don't think of Wendy Harrop. But oh my word,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
I have been surviving.
Yeah.
And it felt like thriving. But now that I have a new definition because I'm
Yeah.
having a new experience, now I'm realizing in retrospect, oh, wow,
Yeah.
you called that happy, and
Right.
that was toxic positivity without even knowing it,
Right.
because I felt powerless, and I told myself I was safe. I told myself I was happy. I told myself this was okay. I told myself my reward is in heaven. I told myself all of these things that I knew to be true and believed were an accurate definition of what my experience was. And until I did the deeper work, until I allowed God to show himself to me. So, not the one that I created when I was 5 and
Yeah.
started to understand, but the one that I needed to become transfigured for my
Yeah.
Bible speakers. Like,
Yep.
that was the God that I created was lovely and fabulous and serving me. And as I allowed his actual character, like that
Yeah.
divine character, to
Yeah.
really infiltrate what my experience was, I mean, I guess that's why they call it awakening.
Totally. And that's the thing is the more we can have our reliance, on God, the more we can stop being in the driver's seat, stop pushing and doing and exhausting ourselves. And I often tell people, I mean, people don't realize, and I bring it to their attention, of course,
Yes.
always in service. And
That's
so,
why they pay you.
so they don't realize, when they're overeating, they're basically replacing God with food.
Mhm.
It's like I need energy. I'm gonna eat. I need comfort. I'm gonna eat. I feel lonely. I'm gonna eat. Like all the things we think we're supposed to like in theory turn to God for. It's like, yeah, but the food's so quick and easy and it's right here. It just seems more convenient and effective, and it does work. Like it works temporarily to bring us comfort. That's why they
Right,
call it comfort eating.
right,
But people who want this relationship with God, they don't realize food's in the way. Like, because food's what we're turning to. It's in theory, it's like, God, yeah, 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 I love God, I believe in God, but the food is making me feel good now,
right.
And so I do bring that to their attention, like, oh, food's actually in the way. Like, food has become my God. If I really want this channel to be open and get the maximum comfort, God's way more comforting than food long term.
For sure.
So then that's where we have to address the food thing because otherwise it is in the way, and it's keeping us from getting all the beautiful benefits of having this beautiful intimate relationship with God.
Yes. I love that so much. And I love that, just this conversation around God. When I was growing up in church, and I remember overhearing a conversation between some adults about, I don't know if it's a portion of the prayer in AA about praying to the God of your understanding.
Hmm.
And I remember the women having this conversation were so angry. Like, there is only one God, and, all the things, like, they got really mad. And what I've grown to understand is that sometimes these words can be triggering because of our personal experience or a definition we've put to it.
Yep.
Sometimes the word dad can be triggering to people. So the word,
Absolutely.
right? The word
Yes.
love,
Yeah.
the word, the word
Yeah.
God. So even in this process, as we are dismantling this thought system that's built on fear and rebuilding and reorienting, we can create even another name. You said higher
Yes.
power. We can say
Yeah.
source. We can say infinite intelligence. It's something that's, it's lavish, unfailing abundance. That
Yeah.
is God. And we can allow ourselves, it doesn't mean you're cheating on Jesus, to use another name, but
Yeah.
it can also help bridge. Oh, okay. I can trust this source, this
Yeah.
divine intelligence to lead me. That makes me feel safe because my understanding of God could be skewed based on my personal experience. And
100%. Yeah, and examples of people who were godly who didn't act so
Mhm.
godly,
Right.
and that can make people completely shut down altogether and not even open up that subject again.
Yeah,
So it's really important that it be as open as possible for easier access, you
for
know,
sure.
so people can get the healing. And it's supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to make you feel like, wow, I am not alone.
Yeah.
God's got me. And if we don't feel that way, we have to do whatever we can to get to that place, or, get whatever understanding we can, or do whatever work we can to clear those blocks. That's all needed,
Yeah.
so that can ultimately be our experience of God.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And obviously, we can't do this on our own.
No
So I'm
way.
so thrilled that you have written this book. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can get their hands on the book. What do you want them to know?
Thank you. So, what I want to give people is an opportunity to first explore where they are on the emotional eating spectrum. I find that we're all emotional eaters to some degree, and women especially. So my website has a quiz. It's an emotional eating quiz. It's free. It is at healyourhunger.com. Heal is HEAL, healyourhunger.com. And the quiz is there. And I would recommend starting with the free quiz to determine if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. You get a personalized
Mm.
score based on the answers that you give. So that's a great place to start. On my website also is my TEDx talk, which is called Emotional Eating: What If Weight Loss Isn't About the Food? And then also my book. There's a link to my book as well as my podcast. It's kind of like all there. My Instagram is Tricia Nelson _, and I give lots of fun, kind of inspirational videos on Instagram. Yeah, I think that'll do it. It's all, I mean, that's probably the easiest place to go is to the website.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. We will link all of that down in the show notes.
Thank
Before
you.
I let you go, I do have one question.
You bet.
So, a lot of my listeners are like me, and we are women of a certain age. And when we hear an excuse for why our pants don't fit right now, it's hormones. And it's just how it is. And you're going to have to deal with it and put on a happy face. And since I don't want to neglect how I feel, and I just took off my happy face after so many years. I don't want to just do that again. So, how is your work interacting with the changes in our bodies? And is that just a separate topic from food or
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The foods we eat, the foods we put in our body are directly impacting every aspect of our lives. I mean, they're affecting how we feel about our bodies. They are affecting our weight. They are affecting our sex life. They are affecting our mood. They're affecting our self-confidence. They're affecting our budget.
yeah.
There is nothing that is not affected really by how we feel about ourselves. And
Mhm.
how we feel about ourselves is directly impacted by how we're feeding ourselves. And so my experience is food has a big impact on hormones, our food choices. If we're eating processed foods, if we're eating sugar and carbs, it's going to mess with our hormones. It's going to mess with our sleep. It's going to make us feel bad. It's going to give us low energy. Sometimes we don't even need supplemental hormones or anything. We need to change our diet And that if you're an emotional eater, that's hard to do without the other things, right? The other support structures of self-care. But I'm not a hormone expert. I just know that, I mean, I have friends who are, and if you're feeding your body crap, it doesn't matter what supplements you take, it doesn't matter, what hormone replacement therapy you do, you're gonna have minimal benefit and effect. The best thing we can do is take care of ourselves. Like nobody can do that for us. God can't do that for us.
Right.
No, God can't. God doesn't work alone in this project of me. Like we are co-collaborators. If you want to have a healthy garden with all kinds of vegetables and beautiful crops, you can pray, but God's gonna have a hard time giving you that crop if you don't go till that soil, water the soil, plant the seed. Like good luck. So we absolutely are co-creators with God. And so it's all the more reason why addressing a relationship with food, which is central to everything. I mean, if you have any kind of health issue, good luck healing it if you don't take a look at, again, the support you're getting through food or not.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I'm so happy and I'm looking forward to future conversations.
It's wonderful to be with you, Wendy. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.